such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness as we continue to look to the skies, eagerly awaiting the return of our Lord. As always, I'm with Rick. Rick, how are you doing?
Doing just fine. Thank you, Pastor.
The Middle East is pretty boring nowadays, right?
Yeah, there's not much going on.
Not much going on.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're doing a broadcast today.
Yeah, I know. It's so boring going on over there. It is October 14th of 2025, and we are looking at the Middle East, the prophecies being fulfilled possibly before our very eyes. The big deal last night, Trump went over to the Middle East to sign a peace treaty. We'll see if that holds. Rick, what do you have to say?
My Bible says that Jerusalem will be a boiling pot for the whole world. There may be some temporary periods of peace, but it's going to be a boiling pot and a contentious place until the Lord comes and rules and reigns.
You must not have seen Trump said he has ended wars in the Middle East, Rick, and this is an age of peace. And he has solved all of the Middle East problems, and Trump is ushering in peace in the Middle East. Rick, you must not have seen.
I must be reading the book. I'm reading the wrong material.
You must not have seen Trump's press conference, because he said you're wrong. He said the Bible is wrong. This is the age of peace. Here's my thing, just from a strictly human perspective and history. Hamas is not disarmed.
Not yet. And I don't think
he went over there to sign that peace treaty, and Hamas still has their weapons. You really think Hamas is going to self-disarm? That's what you're pinning all your hopes on? I don't know. Rick.
I think the initial thing, they got the living hostages back. That was
correct.
Huge.
Correct.
That was huge. Now, Hamas has no bargaining power, and sounds like all their friends have abandoned them, and we'll see what happens. That's the next phase now. We'll see how.
You're talking about people who have no problems killing their own family
people,
members and civilians. They want to hide behind them. They make their military targets in hospitals. Okay, but hey, as of today, October 14th, 2025, what's being celebrated and heralded around the world is this peace treaty that President Trump has brokered, albeit temporary. He's brokered it. Here's our first update on this.
A history-making moment in the Middle East. Tearful reunions and jubilant celebrations. Hamas releasing the final 20 surviving hostages after more than 2 years in captivity. Israel releasing nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners in exchange. It was the U.S. brokered ceasefire, with President Trump rightfully taking credit. In Israel, speaking to Parliament, and in Egypt, with leaders from around the globe as they push for a lasting peace in the region. ABC News Chief International Correspondent James Longman joins us now from Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt.
Hi, Juju. It was an extraordinary day today to see Donald Trump convening this huge group of Arab and Muslim leaders and leaders of some of the most powerful countries on earth to decide what the next steps will be in this journey towards peace. Now, there's a ceasefire in place, but quite what the future of the Middle East looks like, that is in the hands of these men. Who will force Hamas to disarm? How will that happen? What will be the mechanism? Who will govern Gaza? Who will rebuild it? Who will secure it? Who will be part of this international stabilization force which Donald Trump calls for in his 20-point plan? And most importantly, perhaps, are there going to be conversations about the ongoing occupation and the possibility of a future Palestinian state? A start today of a very long journey. Juju?
Okay.
He brought up some very good points.
Yeah. And if you think Hamas or any Islamic military group is going to self-disarm, okay. All right.
Hezbollah is not being disarmed very well. They're not going along with it.
I thought they were gone.
No, Hezbollah is still up in Lebanon, but...
I know, but I thought they pretty much You haven't heard from Hezbollah in a long time.
Yeah,
right?
well, Israel has pretty much disarmed them, but
That's what I'm saying.
But the government of Lebanon is supposed to finish their disarmament, and it is not complete yet. So there's still moles underneath the ground looking for an opportunity to do something. But they're pretty much decimated.
Yeah, I haven't heard from those guys in quite some time. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Again, no one wants war. I don't want war. I do want peace. But I think the ultimate peace will come when Christ will come and establish peace. And if I read my Bible the correct way, that's not happening until he comes back. So we'll see.
This isn't going to be short-lived.
Yeah, like tomorrow. Because part of it is Hamas is supposed to start disarming now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I haven't seen any news articles on that yet, though.
Yeah, me neither.
Probably
Listen,
won't.
I hope I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Here's the next video clip.
You can hold it up for okay, fine. I think we're going to hold it up. I don't hold up the signature page, yeah. Get Gaza straightened out. They wanted to get the whole thing straightened out. It got to a point where it was just crazy. And once they got together and once we started talking, it went really, Tamim, it went smoothly. It went so smoothly. It was such a big help, but it went so smoothly that nobody could even believe it, that we're sitting here and getting this all certified out and all done. And everybody's happy about it. Everybody's happy about it, like I've never seen before, actually. I've done other deals and people don't care as much. Big deals, I think they're big deals, but this is something that's taken off like a rocket ship. And it did from the beginning, and I've heard for years, this is the biggest deal, it'll never happen. For years, long before I ran for office, that this is the Middle East. It's the biggest, most complicated deal. And also it's the place that could lead to tremendous problems like World War III. They always talked about World War III would start in the Middle East. And that's not going to happen. We don't want it to start anywhere, actually, but it's not going to happen. So I just want to thank everybody, and I'll see you in a little while. And in particular, thank you all. Thank you, Tamim. Mr. General, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great job. Great job. Thank you.
So he said it took 3,000 years to get to that point. What does that mean?
Well, they've been talking about peace in Israel for, well, he says 2,000 years.
He said 3,000.
Well, 3,000, yeah, back before Christ was born.
Yeah, 3,000 years. That's when David was king. David was king around 1,000 BC.
Right.
Solomon had a lot of peace.
Solomon had a lot of peace.
And when the Seleucid Empire or the Babylonian Empire or the Persians ruled, there was peace in the Middle East. It wasn't always contentious. It's been contentious in the last few years, and I would say since the cross has been very contentious.
Yeah, since the cross. There's been, I just read an article that there has been, Jerusalem has been besieged over 40 times.
No, that was in a sermon yesterday.
Was that your sermon?
Yeah.
All right, I knew I heard it from a reliable source.
Yeah, since the cross, Jerusalem has been a city of death, and going back and forth between with the Crusades and the Muslim conquest. I mean, it has just been a city of death for the last 2,000 years.
Right.
But, I mean, you've had times of peace. Now, Trump is taking a victory like he's had peace for 2 days.
Right.
Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Don't get ahead of the horse there.
Yeah, you had peace for 2 days. And you're declaring. And again, if we read our Bible correctly, this ain't going to last long.
I don't think
it's not going to last long. But, again, no one wants war.
And then the question is, what's long? Is it 6 months, a year, 2 weeks? We don't know.
Let's see if Hamas disarms.
Right.
Let's start with
that's the
that.
next thing.
I will be shocked if they do that, Rick. I would be shocked. I hope they do.
Without Israel having to go in and disarm
Yes,
themselves.
yes. Well, then at that point, they wouldn't disarm. Israel would disarm them.
Right.
And I think that's the only way that they're disarming. But anyway.
I think that is because Gaza is going to be a grazing land, according to Zephaniah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
It's already
Israel's-
rubble. They already got to.
I mean,
they
it's
already gotta
90%
clear it.
destroyed.
Yeah, they already
So-
got to clear it. They have to clear it. Mark Levin, on his Fox News show, brings up an interesting view and is putting this peace plan into context as it pertains to the Muslim or the Islamic global jihad. I think he brings up some great points. Here he is.
We go there, as you know, President Trump's peace deal is incredible. It is iconic. It's historic. I spent yesterday's monologue explaining why I thought so. And I think this is something that will be discussed for a very, very long time in a very positive way going forward. But I have a suggestion. It's not, nor should it be, the end of the peace process. The greatest danger and threat in the Middle East, which has spread to our country, our hemisphere, other Western nations, Britain, France, you name it, is Islamist terrorism. While it exists beyond the Middle East, the fact is that the Middle East is the hotbed of ideologically centered Islamist terrorism. It's where their so-called scholars are. It's where most of the headquarters are for the worst of the groups. Again, not just there, but there. So until this is addressed, even beyond Hamas, there can't be a permanent peace. I'll prove it to you. I don't see a budget request to eliminate all of our counterterrorism infrastructure, all the personnel, and all the funding, nor should there ever be. It remains a deadly threat to we, the people of the United States. Now, to be more specific, until Arab and Muslim countries like Qatar stop funding it, promoting it, and exporting it, and using state-run propaganda operations that are wildly popular throughout the Arab and Muslim worlds like Al Jazeera, until they stop using them to spread it throughout the Muslim and Arab worlds, the eternal peace we say we want simply will be an illusion.
Mark Levin must not have seen Trump's press conference where he praised all those Muslim leaders and talked about how good they were. He must have missed that.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, let's see how much longer Mark Levin has his show. Because all those Muslims that Trump was sitting at that table, they are all guilty of Islamic aggression at some level. Erdogan, do we need to talk about Erdogan who was at that table? Qatar, who's funding Hamas for years. Really?
And terrorism
Really?
around the world.
Really? Exactly.
Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. And then we're talking about Egypt. Now, Egypt is a little mixed bag there. Because Egypt had that brotherhood uprising,
The Muslim Brotherhood.
Muslim Brotherhood. And they went back and forth. And there's some,
they
some
shut it
real
down.
strife. Yeah, there's some real strife in Egypt.
And they shut it down.
Yeah, but you still had those tunnels going from Gaza Strip to
That's true.
Egypt.
Those kept popping up, so
Yeah,
they were making money off of this thing.
But I would say overall, Egypt is not as. Can we say Egypt is not as bad as Qatar and
It's dogmatic.
It's dogmatic. Yeah, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. They're not as dogmatic, but they have some stuff. So, but he's asking Levin that the Muslims actually renounce Islamic jihad. Good luck with that, Mark Levin, and let's see how much longer you have your show, because you can't say that because Trump just praised them. He praised them. And think about this. Think about this, Rick, at that table. There were no European leaders there.
There was
Some
not
in the
at the
back.
table, yes.
Not at the table.
Sitting in the background, but
Sitting
not
in the back.
but not at the table.
And what involvement really did they have? The European.
None.
Okay.
Well, the Europeans, how many of those countries are overrun with Muslim immigrants that are just
And
destroying the country?
and how many of them came out to recognize Palestine as a state
Not a
weeks
lot of
ago?
them.
No,
Yeah.
Palestine is a state.
Oh, Palestine. I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, Palestine is a state. France, UK started it off, I do believe. So yeah, we'll see. All right, switching to our spiritual topic of the day, Rick, you wanted to discuss this peace treaty that we think the Antichrist is going to enter around the 7-year tribulation. We'll start off in Daniel 9.
Yeah, Daniel 9. We talked about this the last 2 weeks, but we left off part of the sentence. So
Daniel 9:27 goes, and he shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week, and for half of the week he shall put an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall come one who makes desolate, until the decreed end is poured out on the desolator.
So this is a reference to the 70th week of Daniel, which is a week is 7 years, and the 7 years of Daniel's 70 weeks begins with a covenant with many. Now it doesn't say peace, but I'm sure it involves peace.
Because 25 and 26 is talking about war.
Right.
They're talking about war and that war against Israel. But go ahead. Yep.
So there's a covenant with many. Now, we got a lot of people involved here, and they say there's going to be a lot more involved
Yes.
as the days approach. But so what's interesting about this, there is a peace treaty in place for how long, we don't know. But it has not been specifically designated. This will be a treaty signed for 7 years.
So, yeah, you don't think the peace treaty here can develop into this peace treaty in Daniel 9:27?
Well, it could.
No, because you think there's a war coming.
Okay,
go
yeah,
ahead.
okay. So
I'm sorry. Go
So, yeah, I think this peace treaty could establish peace for, a month, 6 months, a year?
Okay.
I don't know.
But you don't think this is the 7
It's not going to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is not the
Gotcha.
peace treaty that the Antichrist.
Gotcha.
But now, if it says 7 years, then if as this develops and all these countries are meeting, blah blah blah, and they say, well, why don't we just sign it for 7 years? Yeah, well then that's the start. However, there is another peace period mentioned in Ezekiel 38. Now there's different opinions on this. This is my opinion, but there are different opinions. This is not the only one, so I just want to set that there. So Ezekiel 38 talks about God putting their hooks in the mouth of Russia and pulling Russia and Turkey, Iran, some of the alliances are Ethiopia, Libya, to come down and destroy Israel. However, this war cannot take place unless Israel is at peace. So is this temporary peace treaty going to be a time of peace that would make this possible in the next 6 months, a year, 2 years? I don't know. And it all depends. If this is the 7-year treaty that is signed in 6 months or a year, then that's the beginning of Daniel's 70th week. But
then if that happens, if you see a peace treaty and this peace treaty develops to a 7-year peace treaty, what do you do with Ezekiel 30? Because 38:10, I have it up here on the screen. Thus says the Lord God, on that day, thoughts will come into your mind, and you will devise an evil scheme, and say, I will go up against the land of unwalled villages. I will fall upon the quiet people who dwell securely, all of them dwelling without walls and having no bars or gates. So what do you do if this thing does develop into the 7-year tribulation? What do you do with Ezekiel 38?
so I would say most opinions from the pre-trib, mid-trib, and pre-wrath think it's going to happen either right before the 70th week of Daniel, or it could, if that's not the case, it might be part of the wars that occur in the first part of the tribulation when the Antichrist is forming all his alliances.
Gotcha. So, okay.
So, but
Okay.
then there's people. There's another position.
But you said, but that's the pre and mid. That's not post.
no.
Yeah, because
It's-
post think this is all back to Armageddon. So yeah, I got you.
Yeah, because it talks about a war with Gog and Magog at the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
And so I don't know if does the post-trib consider this that war?
No,
Okay, all right.
this is Armageddon.
So there is another peace treaty
That's totally different.
that
yeah.
Israel has to be at peace, and this war or wars is prophesied to take place. So that's just opinion from those different perspectives. But yeah, there's a lot going to be happening.
You also got Dan and Sheba. You didn't want to talk.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's interesting too.
Sheba, 38:13. Sheba and Dan, and the merchants of Tarshish, and all its leaders will say to you, "Have you come to seize spoil? Have you assembled your hosts to carry off plunder, to carry away silver and gold, and to take away livestock, goods, and seize great spoil?" So Sheba and Dan, and the merchants of Tarshish, which seems to be what Turkey up that way.
Turkey's Jonah fled to Tarshish, which was the farthest west. I think it was more toward Spain and Europe.
Oh yeah, maybe yeah.
So
Tarshish.
that's the west
Spain,
of Assyria. He was going as far west as he could go in the known world.
So they're rebuking, and all these will say to you, that's the Gog and Magog, right? Have you come to see
Yeah,
spoil?
why are you doing this? And
Have you assembled your hosts to carry off plunder?
and then Sheba and Dedan are. You said they're at the tip of.
And when is this? Sheba and Dan is like from Eritrea, Ethiopia, over to the Saudi Arabia
Peninsula.
area. Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, but that's another time of peace supposedly for Israel, and how short-lived or long-lived it is. We'll see over the next weeks and months and see what happens. It's fascinating times, but they are against this war. They say, "Why are you doing this? Why don't you do this?" But
Yeah, I don't get it.
so
I don't know. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't looked at it too hard. But anyway. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Rick.
Right.
Thank you all for listening.
yeah, exciting times.
Until next time, very, very interesting time. Very, very interesting time. Until next time, thank you. Let's continue to look to the sky. Till then, God bless.
For such a time as this,